From Mexico to Louisiana, the Red River down to the Laguna Madre, Texas is one big playground. Join us as we take you on some of the best outdoor adventures the Lone Star State has to offer.
There you go.
This is Fishing and Hunting Texas.
You know, 99% of the time when we're out fishing the state of Texas, we're fishing public bodies of water. But every once in a while, I get the opportunity to fish a private body of water, and we're fishing a 1,200 acre lake. I'm here with Justin Dubose, and I mean, this lake looks fantastic. Tell me a little bit about it.
It is. You know, we're still relatively new to the property, but trying to manage a 1,200 acre lake has been a little difficult, but we're just kind of rolling with it, and fishing's generally really good all the time. It's not pressured hardly at all, and we're trying to make it so, you know, fishing every other day. There's one or two boats on here most of the time, just a few days a week, and it's just a really special place.
I mean, unprivileged fish, it's got cover everywhere. I can tell you, it looks amazing. Let's go see if we can catch some fish. Thanks for joining us. This is Fishing and Hunting Texas.
We're in Northeast Texas, about an hour outside the DFW Metroplex in Fannin County. It's late June and bass are well into their summer pattern. But even with the record-setting heat this year, the fish on Valley Lake Ranch are abundant and easy to find.
It's a really special place if you just want to come catch fish, catch numbers. However you want to fish, you can come catch them. If you want to catch bass, crappie, catfish, we've got it all. But we really are proud of the bass fishery that it is.
With clear water and healthy stands of vegetation, Clark opts for a Strike King Rage Swimmer. The Rage Swimmer is a great search bait, allowing you to cover water quickly. It also glides effortlessly through cover, where other search baits might get hung up.
Little guy. Not too bad. It's a start. Bite number one was about maybe 3 casts in, Kevin. Not a giant one, but sure enough a fish. I'm pretty excited about it. This is so awesome to me. I mean, when you look at a lake like this, you know, I was telling Wade earlier, I'm just kind of a dreamer. I love dreaming about, you know, I dream about big deer and I dream about fish and fishing places, and man, this lake gets your imagination going quick. You know, one of my very favorite things to do in fishing is to come to a new place, to fish a new lake, and man, what a treat we had today. Valley Lake Ranch, put the boat in the water, and I mean, started catching them as soon as we got out there. And one of my very favorite ways to fish is on topwater. And man, we caught them on Sexy Dog, a walking bait. We caught them on a flapping frog. We caught them on a holly body frog. We ended up catching them on a Rage Swimmer. We caught some on a worm. I mean, we caught them just about any way we wanted to. And there's so much variety here. There's a lot of different kinds of areas where, you know, there's grass, there's actually a lot of deep water structure. So, I mean, one of those places that, and I'd love to come back here.
Oh, well, I heard it.
Well, he kind of handcuffed me just a little bit.
Okay. I heard that line instead of the bite.
This is a Strike King Rage Swimmer, and it just catches them. I mean, just a bait that, you know, this one here is a 4.8, and, you know, I got it. It's kind of a bluegilly kind of color, and probably doesn't matter what color it is, but it just comes through cover really well. A lot of times when you're thinking of something that's, you know, to fish in the grass or fish up around grass, fish shallow, 2-3 foot around anything just about, this is a good bait for it when they're wanting something moving.
Learn more about the Rage Swimmer or any of the Strike King products at StrikeKing.com. If you find something you like, head on over to Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's.com to order. This episode of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
When there's miles of water in front of you and hundreds of feet below, you need a boat with the chops to dominate, no matter the conditions. With the strength and technology to overcome the elements and the competition. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time.
The best of the best just got better. Clearer images, sharper resolution, improved target separation. That's right, better. LiveScope Plus, only from Garmin.
Just when you thought two of the most reliable Yamaha outboards of all time couldn't get any better, they did. Now with integrated steering, the new F-150 and F-200 are turning up performance with precise, responsive handling, with sleek, modern styling, total tilt for convenience, and Helmmaster EX compatibility for more control and ease of maneuvering. The Yamaha i4 F-150 and F-200, sheer perfection at every turn.
Welcome back to Fishing and Hunting Texas. We're with Clark Wendlandt on Valley Lake Ranch, an 1,100-acre private lake located about 70 miles northeast of the Metroplex. Loaded with bass, crappie, and catfish, Valley Lake Ranch is a healthy fishery that receives little pressure. It's late June, and even in the Texas heat, the lake is producing plenty of bites. Today, it's a numbers game, but the lake also has its share of double-digit fish. Check out valleylakeranch.com for all the details.
Oh, did you see all those fish with him?
Was there a bunch with him?
Yeah.
Were they the same size?
They were the same size, yeah. Oh, about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. It's like 3 of them.
Originally impounded in the early 60s, the lake probably served as a water source for a power plant.
The Valley Lake Power Plant was here for a really long time, longer than I've been alive. It was open until the early 2000s when they closed it. Lumen Energy owned it. I believe it was a hydroelectric power plant. And, you know, they started, I don't know how many years ago, but they've been shutting down power plants all over Texas. And, you know, it was never meant to be, I don't believe it was ever meant to be a fishery, but it did turn into that. So it's very cool. I'll tell you what, when it gets cold here, the fishing's, I feel like when the water temp's in the high 40s and low 50s, it's incredible.
Better.
It's just, there's just something about it. When they're staging, when they start to move up, and they start staging before they move up to spawn, it's just.
I mean, you can tell this has a lot of big fish in it. It's just, you know, the time of year makes it where you gotta work a little harder for a big one. But.
Oh yeah. And I think we had such a good spawn this year. On the other end of the lake, where all these cattails are, there's several spots where there's 200 yards of water behind the cattails you can't get to. And I think they had a really, really good spawn.
You know, we did a lot of different things. The one thing you'll see here is that there's a lot of variety. And when I talk variety, there's pepper grass, there's another kind of grass I wasn't even sure what it was. There's coontail, there's lily pads, there's lots of reeds, so those fish would be up around reeds, especially like during the spawn. So there's a lot of variety, and that's what's so cool. I mean, Probably the coolest thing about the whole place is it's a 1,200 acre lake. I mean, how often do you get to fish a 1,200 acre lake when you're the only boat on the water? So, you know, I've been fishing in Texas my whole life, and one of my very favorite grasses that I've ever fished, you know, a lot of people call them weeds, but to me, weed is bad, grass is good. I always think of it as grass. So, but there's a lot of peppergrass in here, and actually probably more peppergrass than I've just about seen anywhere. I've never seen this big of stands that just go and go and go. But one thing about peppergrass is that it always grows in good bottom. So like when I say good bottom, I mean hard bottom, not mucky bottom. And so when I see this much, I know that the bottom is pretty firm, a lot of it, but man, your cover looks good.
It's usually, and it just keeps getting better as the year goes on, you know. But all this, you know, a month ago, it wasn't like this.
You didn't see it.
This is all like new, this is all new growth.
Yeah, it grows when it gets a little bit warmer.
The amount of vegetation, you can't go anywhere on this lake without seeing vegetation. The primary vegetation, the submergent vegetation, is coontail. We've also got peppergrass, or people call it pondweed, I call it peppergrass. We've got lily pads. It's got cattails and coach whips. But I would say the primary vegetation is probably coontail and peppergrass. That's the two main ones. Oh, that was quick.
That's not a bad one. Their heads always make them look big at first, you know.
You can't get mad at that.
That's true. He hit it like as soon as it hit the water. It's a solid one though.
Oh.
That didn't take long. No. First cast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
That was, yeah. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my gear just went out. He inhaled it.
Yeah, he did.
And I lost my front. Oh.
It's just crazy the number of fish. I mean, it's just.
When it comes to Texas bass fishing, there are few places in the state where you can put your boat in the water for a day and just about catch fish at will, without having to deal with other anglers, fishing pressure, or even drought-stricken lake levels.
One of the coolest things is watching people, especially people that don't get to fish a lot, you know, if they can come catch 20, 30, 40 fish a day, I mean, that's the most fish they've ever caught. And, you know, fishing's usually pretty easy. You don't have to work that hard for them. You don't have to get mad at them. But it's just, we try to make it a really pleasant, easy experience.
This portion of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Strike King Lures and Tackle, Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here, and by TH Marine, from transom to trolling motor. Fishing and Hunting Texas will be right back.
Sometimes the world can seem a cold place, so we gotta bring the warmth to it. Sometimes the world can seem a dark place, so we gotta become the light in it. Sometimes the world can seem a broken place, so we gotta strive to fix it. We prepare for the worst, but we must always, always expect the best.
We're with Clark and the crew on Valley Lake Ranch in Fannin County at the invitation of Justin Dubose. He's put a lot of time into developing a great fishery, and we encourage you to check out valleyranchlake.com or find their Facebook page to learn more.
Oh, came back, got it. Oh, missed it. Got it.
Did you see the one that chased me in?
I didn't. I was watching. This one missed it twice before he committed. You had one follow you all the way up?
He followed it to right there, and then he sat right there. And so then I tried to stick my bait there, and then I didn't even know you were playing with one.
Better.
You know, we put our boat in the water, and when we started, I was thinking, well, a swim bait would be something that ought to work pretty well also. And so I picked up a Rage swimmer, throwing it on braided line over that pepper grass. It swam through that pepper grass really good and started catching them immediately. And then after we started doing that just a little bit, Justin picks up a flapping frog of some kind, and he starts throwing that flapping frog. Well, I mean, I'm throwing a Rage swimmer, which is below the water, and he's fishing a topwater frog on top of the water, and my eyes are glued to his bait because it's just fun to watch somebody catch one on topwater. So, you know, I'm sitting there reeling, and every once in a while I set the hook. He's sitting there, I'm watching him blow up on his bait. Man, we had just an incredibly fun day.
I felt like he.
Oh, it's a nice
that's a
one.
good one. I felt like he spit it out and sucked it back in when he was underwater.
Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah, there we go. He was kind of out there. He wasn't coming off.
No, he's hooked good.
Those hooks are sticky.
You know, I get the opportunity to fish all over the country, and in Texas, I film on public lakes almost all the time. And every once in a while, you get a situation comes along where you get to fish a private lake, but most of those lakes are little, they're small. This lake is big, and I mean, you know, I'm not gonna say it's like a Great Lake or anything, but it's a 1,200 acre private lake with a lot of variety. And I mean, you just don't find anything like that.
I would say one of the most unique things about it is the size, number one, and the fact that you come out here and you feel like, because you are, you know, the only boat or one of the only boats on the lake,
Yeah.
you know, and having a body of water that big, you know, and it feels private. You don't feel like you're fighting the public, or, you know, you're not worried about somebody else rolling up on your fishing hole, or, you know, and it's just, it's peaceful out here. It's quiet.
It is.
Nobody's gonna bother you. It feels like you're secluded.
It is very, very, I can say it from experience, very cool place.
Oh, yes. How many times did he come up?
Now
and get
that's
that?
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I had no line out, and
Oh
he
my
kept
God.
coming.
He sure did. He was committed.
He wanted it. That's awesome. Doesn't get much better than that. You know, one of my very favorite topwaters is a walking bait, and the one that I've really decided I like, I've got it tied on every single tournament I fish, I've almost always got it in the rod box, is a Strike King Sexy Dog. And this one just happens to be called a hard knock. You can see there's a hook rash that's taking that hard knock about halfway off there. But this bait just has a really good sound going back and forth. Every time you walk it, it's click, click, click. And for some reason, those fish just bite this thing. They eat it really good. I'm fishing it around the outside of grass, but you can also fish it on rock. You can fish it, I mean, just about anywhere. Schooling fish, it's a good bait. But it's caught some really key fish for me this year. And you know, I fish it, my setup is, I use braided line. I usually use 30 or 40 pound test. That's Sunline SX1. And you know, and I might even go to 50 if I was really thinking I was gonna be in some heavy cover, but you can't fish this thing in too heavy a cover. So, you know, this is around the edges, the outside of the grass, the outside of the rock, the bluffs, the over laydowns, but not up in the laydown. And this bait will get you some big bites.
The Strike King Sexy Dog comes in 2 sizes and variety of colors. Check them out at your favorite Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's, or shop them online. This portion of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Sunline, the strength to guarantee your confidence. Boomerex air guns, rifles, pistols, and accessories. And by Outdoor Action TV, Download and stream your favorite outdoor programming. Stay with us. Fishing and Hunting Texas will be right back.
Plenty of sunshine.
Come on, man, let's roll!
What the?
To catch the fish, you need to be one with the fish.
With PowerPole shallow water anchors, you'll get the ultimate in precision, power, and control, so you can catch more fish. No face paint or phony fins necessary.
Fishy, fishy.
The year of the air gun hunter. Umarex Air Guns.
Back on Valley Lake Ranch, an 1,100-acre private fishery in Savoy, Texas, we are with Clark Wendlandt and Justin Dubose. We've spent much of the day on the main lake throwing topwaters and swim baits around the abundant vegetation, but now Clark and Justin have switched it up, moving shallow and casting frogs over cover in a tree-lined creek.
The water's 91 degrees. A lot of times, most people don't really expect fish to be shallow, way back in. But a lot of times those fish, I mean, they'll kind of scatter out when it gets really hot like that. And we were back in this one shallow canal and we started catching them.
Like a little suction cup.
Yeah, he's kind of slurped it. Good in here.
Oh.
I thought he was bigger than that, but he's just not. He's littler, way littler than I thought he was. And you know, the ones we were catching were 2, 2.5. Every once in a while we catch a 3-pounder. And all of a sudden I look down and Justin's like, hey man, there's a big one. Oh, that's a good one. It's a good one. Might have had 7, 8, maybe even 10 foot of line out, not much.
Boy, he choked it.
That's cool. I mean, he got it way back in there.
Yeah, he did. Oh gosh. Oh. Well, I'm not mad at him.
You know, that fish showed me, hey, that's the kind of fish that there is here. Yeah, it's hot. It's not the kind of, you know, in the middle of the summer, you're just not expecting to catch a bunch of 10-pounders. But those big fish are here.
Thank you, girl. She was in the middle.
Yeah, she was. Very cool.
I saw her swim from like 3 feet away and hit it.
But you had worked it from the outside.
I did.
Yeah, okay.
So she could have followed it, you know. I think what our eventual goal is here is to turn Valley Lake Ranch into an exclusive fishing and hunting venue. There's not very many places like this with this large of a body of water that's close to close to the Metroplex. You know, a lot of people compare it to going to Mexico without having to go to Mexico. You know, and it's going to take us several years because, you know, there's a lot of construction. We're still building. We're still trying to build a business. You can go to valleylakeranch.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook. If you want to know information, my contact information's on the website or on Facebook. We'd love to have anybody come out, want to book a trip and share the experience. I think they kind of like that orange on that tail.
I got that one.
Dang that time. That's not that little.
Yeah, it's not bad. I finally won, Kevin. But he didn't get it by much. Look at that. It just barely got in there.
He's long.
Yeah. There's really not many opportunities like this. Here, it's an incredible situation with relaxed fishing, not a lot of pressure. There's not people on this lake. You know, if you're out here on a day and it's just your party, you're probably going to be the only guy out here, and man, I mean, you get a lot of bites. And that's what's so special. You get those bites, you can try a lot of techniques. If you want to learn how to worm fish, well, learn how to worm fish. If you want to throw topwater because that's your thing, hey, throw topwater. If you want to go cranking, go cranking. You can do just anything here.
Keep up with Clark and the show on our Facebook page or stream past episodes. Head on over to OutdoorAction.com and download our free app. Well, that does it for this week. We'll catch you next time, right here on Fishing and Hunting Texas.